The shocking extent of Adrian Ernest Bayley's criminal history has been suppressed for much of the past 2 years. It can now be revealed the 43-year-old has been found guilty of raping 3 other women before he raped and murdered Jill Maher. The first trial in July last year saw Bayley found guilty of raping an 18-year-old woman who was working as a street prostitute in St Kilda in 2000, while juries in 2 other trials this month found Bayley guilty of carrying out 2 further attacks on women in 2012 while still on parole for rape convictions, on bail for assault, and just months before he raped and murdered Jill Maher. In April 2012, Bayley picked up a 25-year-old prostitute on Carlisle Street. He drove her to a nearby laneway, falsely imprisoned her in his car and raped her. While in July 2012, Adrian Bayley pulled up next to a 27-year-old Dutch backpacker who had been drinking at the Elephant and Wheelbarrow. He told her a car had been following her and she should get in his car. He trapped, punched and indecently assaulted her before raping her. Police later created a face image based on the description of her attacker, and in August 2012, the victim described the frightening attack.
I couldn't get out of the car and he was on me, and I was really concerned of just to get either killed or not. I just saw myself just really being killed. He could have done anything. I convinced him that that the car wasn't really the right place, and I said, well, I just go to my house really close by, and he was saying oh yeah, you go to the police. I'm no, I'm not going to the police, and just convinced him, and then he bought it.
But it wasn't until Bayley was arrested over the murder of Jill Maher in September that the victims in all 3 of the latest trials were able to identify him as their attacker.
I don't think he's really that smart. Because he came home with me, why? Come on, yeah, it's just not that smart. And I just think he's pathetic to have to do that.
Bayley sat in the dock throughout each trial in a dark shirt and tie with his hair tied back in a ponytail. He was at all times surrounded by 4 prison guards and showed little emotion, except for when his ex-partner gave evidence describing how their relationship ended when he was arrested over the murder of Jill Maher in September 2012. Having been found guilty by juries in all 3 of the recent trials, Bayley will face a pre-sentencing hearing in May, but it will be up to the judge to decide whether he serves any additional time concurrently and remains eligible for parole in 2048.